Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world, and you, wonderful, wonderful individual. Today, I would like to speak about that warm and mushy feeling that comes from observing something morally good and beautiful. It is something one often will have to let oneself be exposed to and not becoming ashamed of such things, for the warm, loving, nurturing feelings of that it's mush, more or less, is something that our body truly, not only our body, but our soul health truly needs over time. The more we expose ourselves to coldness and emotional distance and indifference, the more you are, draining your body of life force. For the warm and the good and the beautiful is what allows one to truly have a certain life and a certain oomph in life. So being interested, becoming childlike in anything that excites you, and truly getting into whatever that excites you. For more than often we have a tendency to deny ourselves many of these things. Now why? Well, that is up to each and every individual one of us to find out, isn't it? It's about asking questions. It's about being curious. The more you become curious, the more you actually can be dynamic and also cooperate with life and the higher forces and the hierarchy, the Christ and so on. When you let in these feelings of, love, the more you are able to autonomously bring out love. And one can also, as I said, deny oneself these things. I would not recommend it, for it will be very visible in our being later. But the more we open our soul to these things, the more healthy we become soul spiritual wise. And over time our body will follow, for what is inward will become outward. So, the more we are faithful, loving and hopeful, the more we let in these beings that more or less live in these forces. In the moral, in the true, good and beautiful, in what's empathic, in what's caring, and to allow oneself to meet another individual, human being, with equality and interest. This interest, of course, we have to consciously and actively in freedom choose to do, for if we go on automatic, you already see the picture there. We have a lot of traumas and a lot of different experiences in life that makes us react automatically in certain ways. But if we actively work towards clearing these things up, you will act differently the next time. Or if not, the time after that. Or if not, the time after that. It's about never giving up. It's about always knowing that even if you had just an inch of change in this life, you still managed to change a little. It's about not being too, the best word for it is greedy in our development, and believing ourselves to be able to go further than we are capable of going. For karma, grace and destiny has a lot of say in this. We have a lot of karma. We have a lot of lifetimes on our backs and on our souls. So the more we are curious about these things, the more we are allowed to see into many of the secret mysteries of this cosmos and of the lifetimes and reincarnation and karma that we are both exposed to and also are given in grace. For grace is what I like to call our future self borrowing us gifts from the future so we can strive for that future. For if we didn't have grace, it would be only pain here. Because karma it's a world karma and also individual karma. Just like we have cultural karma in each country, we have the whole world's karma, individual karma, we have group soul karma. So based on what group you're in and what you participate in and are utilizing your faculties for is also bringing a certain amount of karma to you and those you hang around. The more you are kind of becoming one person, in a sense, as the best is to be individual in a group, always staying individual and holding others to their individuality too. Letting oneself go in a group and just losing one's own individuality is not healthy, because you are easily dragged from one area to another without even realizing it before it hits you thereafter. So holding oneself strong in this individuality, and also knowing we are fully part of the whole, and that we are affecting the whole based on our inner work. The more we live by that, the more we can take responsibility for how we are behaving, how we think, how we feel, and what will impulses and actions we bring to the world. Now, not everyone is interested in these types of things because they might seem mundane or trivial, but in the end, this is every single moment, so it is by no means trivial. It is actually immensely important. So the more you become awake to every moment, to here and now, to your thoughts, the more you're able to participate in them consciously. And instead of allowing in ugly thoughts, you are transforming them to beautiful ones consciously. Like shaping and forming your thoughts. Just try it now. I give you an example. Imagine a rose, or imagine a tulip, or imagine a orchid. Already there alone, you have utilized your thinking to imagine that image. Now that in on itself is a beautiful thing, for plants in general are, by nature, expressing itself in its own beauty. It doesn't have that. It doesn't have any kind of concerns about what it is going to do, or it just stretches out its beautiful leaves and flower, you know? That in on itself brings a certain warmth. Or if you look at beautiful animals that are so innocently doing their instincts and walking around and eating, take a pigeon, just observing a pigeon for a little while, it brings a smile to your face because they're so cute and innocent and at the same time so pure. So the more we allow ourselves to feel these things, the more you become soft, but it requires strength to stay soft, to not be intimidated by anyone that says otherwise. For soul health is far more important than others' opinions in the end. And to be able to be oneself and to love what one truly brings in warmth for and so on. Now, that requires a certain amount of inner force of will and an inner strength to hold oneself to it. So, I personally it was at a point where I kind of felt ashamed of these things, that to be soft and to feel these warm feelings. But then when you start thinking about it, why? Do you think that you become stronger by being indifferent and cold and feeling less and cannot see any beauty in this life? If nothing else, you are lacking something severely from my perspective. You can still see the world exactly the same, but with warmth instead. Although you can also see its objective truths, that it is ugliness in this world too. But if we only focus on that alone, that is what we feed into in the end. But it is important to also be aware and acknowledge the forces of ugliness and the forces of stagnation, degradation, cultural destruction, and so on. For the more you allow in the mushy, warm feelings, the more you counteract these forces that tries to destroy moral goodness and human, warmth. The warmth that we as individuals can meet each other with in freedom if we choose to do so. But it can only be done in freedom. For as I said, reaction often leads to pain. And yeah, we do react now and then. It's about acknowledging that and also knowing where we have to work, what we have to work upon. That is what our reactions is. It is kind of a signpost that, yep, this one, that we can work upon, as an example. Of course, we have a lot of things that we cultivate and strive for over time, but I think this will be everything for today. So, may you be protected, guided, blessed, and loved by Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, Michael, ancient masters of old, ancestors from every incarnation, and may you be provided for with all that you need to survive, live, thrive, being creative, inspirational, and healing to the world, so others can follow when the time is right and courage is high. Thank you so much. May you be safe and sound. Love you. See you. Goodbye.